Alright dudes, welcome back with me with another YouTube video. Before we start this video, I want to share my happiness to you. I want to give two gifts to you. The gift is a Samsung Galaxy A21 smartphone and a One Piece figure. Okay, so today I'll talking about Roronoa Zoro in One Piece. So, make sure to stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy seeing this anime reviews and want to keep them coming, the best thing you can do is smash that like button, and if you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell or you will miss future anime videos. 21 years ago Roronoa Zoro is born. 11 years ago Kuina and Roronoa Zoro made a promise for one of them to become the greatest swordsperson. After Kuina dies, Kushiru gives Zoro the Wado Ichimonji to reach his goal. Sometime in the past, Wado Ichimonji was created by Shimotsuki Kozaburo. When Kozaburo left Wano, he took his handcrafted Mato sword with him. The sword was carefully stored in the warehouse of the Ishin dojo, rarely used, as Kushiru does not have any need to use it for combat, as his dojo used only wooden swords to train and teach his students. As the masterpiece of the legendary swordsmith, Shimotsuki Kozaburo classified as one of the 21 great grade swords, Wado Ichimonji is one of the most powerful swords in the world, described by Toshigi, a sword fanatic, as magnificent katana of the highest caliber. It is most notably extraordinarily durable, able to withstand strikes from Dracule Mihawk's Yuru, a supreme grade sword, which shattered his two other swords, cut large battleships, and a giant iceberg. It could even defend against strikes from another great grade sword, Shisui, wielded by the samurai, Ryama, for a period of time. These are notable feats, as Yuru and Shisui are renowned black blades, and Wado Ichimonji was not imbued with haki at the time. 2 years ago Zoro saves Rika from Saro, Helmeppo's dog. For defying him and killing Saro, Helmeppo has Zoro crucified for 9 days without food or water. Luffy rescues Zoro and recruits him as his first crew member. Zoro has 2 katanas broken by Dracule Mihawk, and then Luffy defeats Don Krieg at the Baratie, and Sanji joins the Straw Hats. Zoro buys the Sandai Kitetsu and Yubashiri from Ipponmatsu at Logatown. The Sandai Kitetsu is one of the grade swords. Like all of its predecessor Kitetsu swords, this one is said to be cursed. It is one of Tengayama Hitetsu's creations. Like all of the swords crafted by Kitetsu, this one is said to be cursed, and will supposedly bring horrible death to all of its owners. In the past, one of Wano's best swordsmiths, Tengayama Hitetsu, crafted Sandai Kitetsu in imitation of one of the 21 great swords, Nidai Kitetsu, which also became an infamous cursed sword. It was later exported overseas and was eventually acquired by Ipponmatsu. Fearing its curse, he refused to sell it until Zoro took a liking to Sandai Kitetsu because of its cursed nature. Zoro courageously tested his luck by risking his arm, extending it against Sandai Kitetsu's falling edge, ultimately keeping the sword after his luck prevailed over the curse. Afterward, Zoro continues wielding it in countless battles against powerful enemies such as Kaku, Ryama, and Oars. After the 2-year timeskip, Zoro used Sandai Kitetsu to grievously wound Hody Jones in battle. Upon receiving Enma, Zoro was notified by Hitetsu of Sandai Kitetsu's origin. Yubashiri was one of the 50 skillful grade swords. As one of the 50 skillful grade swords, Yubashiri was a very powerful sword, its greatest attribute being its extremely light weight, with Zoro remarked that it was a nice katana after seeing how easy it was to use. Its light weight allowed fast actions and reflexes, while maintaining its sharpness for cutting power. Yubashiri has shown extraordinary strength and sharpness, as Zoro can use it to cut a sea train carriage in half alongside Sandai Kitetsu when using Rashomon. Yubashiri also has exceptional durability, as it could defend against extremely powerful attacks such as Kaku's Zone Devil enhanced Rokushiki techniques. It was only destroyed due to rusting power of Shu Sabi Sabi no Mi. At Thriller Bark, Shisui is given to Roronoa Zoro by Ryama. Shisui is one of the 21 great grade swords and a black sword that was once wielded by the legendary samurai Ryama. It is prized as the national treasure of the Wano country. Before acquiring Enma, Zoro believed that Shisui was an extremely important necessity for him in order to attain victory in his crew's upcoming decisive battle against Kaido and the Beast Pirates. Shisui is designed to increase both the damage potential and destructive power of the user to a tremendous extent, as was first demonstrated when Zoro used Shisui against Oars. But in Wano, Shisui was then stolen by Gyukimaru and returned to Ryama's grave. After that, Zoro agreed to leave Shisui behind to replace it for the offered Enma. Enma is one of the 21 great grade swords, currently in the possession of Roronoa Zoro as one of his 3 blades. Sometime in the past, Enma was created by famous swordsmith Shimotsuki Kozaburo. Due to its special attributes, no samurai had managed to wield Enma until it was eventually acquired by Kazuki Oden, who managed to master it as part of his Oden Naitoryu. Oden later used Enma to wound one of the 4 emperors, Kaido, giving him his only scar. As a masterpiece of legendary swordsmith Shimotsuki Kozaburo and one of the 21 great grade swords, Enma is among the best swords in the world, with Kazuki Hiyori deeming it a worthy replacement for even the legendary Shisui. Tengayama Hitetsu has described Enma as able to cut through to the bottom of hell, paralleling Aim no Habakiri being able to slice heaven itself. Zoro is the first known person since Ryama to kill a dragon, an act which made the latter a legend. Both of them also killed the dragon the same way, by decapitation in the air. Along with Killer, Zoro is only one of 2 members of the worst generation who do not have a devil fruit power. Incidentally, they are the only 2 who are subordinates rather than a captain. Zoro's reintroduction to the series after the timeskip is reminiscent of how Mihawk was introduced. Both sliced a galleon in 2 and both seemingly did so due to an interrupted nap. Zoro is the highest bounty starter on the East Blue with 60 million berries, defeating Luffy that amounts double of his initial bounty 30 million berries. Oda has hinted that one of the reasons why Zoro uses sushi-based puns in his nigiri attacks is because he has never tried sushi and has some sort of fascination with it. However, this can be considered one of Oda's SBS jokes. Zoro's favorite foods are white rice, sea monster meat, and anything that goes with sake. His least favorite food is chocolate because it is too sweet. Zoro also does not like ice cream, the same as Nami, Sanji and Frankie. Zoro's favorite dish to cook is sashimi. Zoro's favorite type of island and season is autumn on Autumn Island. Zoro smells like steel. If the Straw Hat Pirates were a family, then Zoro would be the eldest son. If One Piece was set in the real world, then Zoro would be from Japan. Zoro's thoughts are sword, strength, train, sleep, and like the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates, friendship. When asked which flower Zoro resembles the most, Nico Robin's Japanese voice actress replied he most resembles a thistle. Zoro's blood type is XF, the same as Frankie's. Zoro bathes once a week, the same as Luffy and Brook. Zoro represents the prefecture of Hokkaido. Other than taking naps, Zoro typically sleeps at 4 a.m. and gets up at 7 a.m. Zoro's hobbies are training and drinking alcohol. If the Straw Hat Pirates had a 50-meter race, then Zoro would come in 5th place. Oda clarifies that Zoro would be ranked higher in a shorter distance race, but Zoro would get lost in a longer race. Armament Haki is Zoro's specialty concerning Haki, which he learned from Mihawk during the 2-year timeskip. He first demonstrated Armament Haki while against fighting Monet, a Logia user, on Punk Hazard after he slashed her cheek with a flying slash to save Tashigi. During his fight with Pika, it was first demonstrated he could imbue Armament Haki into all 3 of his swords, Wado Ichimonji, Sandai Kitetsu, and Shisui, at once and hardening them. In doing so he managed to bisect Pika as a stone giant. Zoro later cut him down after he covered his entire body with the same Haki, thereby also demonstrating his supreme mastery over Haki as compared to the Don Quixote top executive. During his time as a Ronin in Wano, Zoro has shown to be capable of imbuing Armament Haki into other blades aside from his usual ones such as a scythe, causing a flame-like aura to flow from it and his 2 swords. Later, after receiving Enma from Tengayama, his mastery in Armament Haki was further displayed when he forces his Haki back into his arm that was forcefully drained by Enma, whereas a normal swordsman would have been drained of all their Haki. Zoro was able to fully control its dangerous Haki draining properties after training for 3 days, becoming the second person after Oden to master Enma. According to Hyogoro, the basis of Haki Wano is, when swordsmen wanted to cut something, their swords could even cut through steel. But when they don't want to cut something, the paper doesn't get cut. Wait, this is a principle that Zoro understood in Alabasta. Initially, Zoro could not fight Mr. One, which is the most difficult enemy for an ordinary swordsman. But Zoro suddenly got an enlightenment, where he could feel the position of his sword. He was then able to cut the rock and Mr. One, but his swing did not cut the leaf he cut. If we look at Hyogoro's words, it is clear that Zoro is the first user of Armament Haki in the Straw Hats. So, Zoro seems to have attained Armament Haki ahead of his peers. He even continues to use this technique to cut steel. It's just that, the technique isn't perfect. Maybe because this armament is controlled by Zoro himself, so he doesn't know his mistake. New to training with his Mihawk Armament Haki so perfect. After finishing training by Mihawk, Zoro mastered Observation and Armament Haki. His Armament Haki level is also high. He proved it by slashing Pika after Pika coated his body with Armament Haki as well. But did Zoro's observation haki increase in level while waiting for Luffy at Wano? This thought crossed my mind when I heard what happened to Zoro. While Zoro got lost in Wano, he happened to walk into the same place the Yasu visited above. Zoro then took part in an ongoing gambling session, where Zoro always bet all his money and he always won. So, does Zoro's observation haki allow him to see the future too like Katakuri? It feels like a high-level observation haki user can handle gambling games easily. Fujitora did look unlucky at Dressrosa, but it happened because he was cheated by the dealer at the roulette table. He actually guessed all the roulette results right. So even Zoro's observation haki feels able to anticipate the situation at the gambling table. That's why Zoro hasn't been actively gambling. After all, he also seemed to rob the thugs where he was staying because he needed a place to sleep. It would be interesting if Zoro's observation haki developed further, and he later became a figure like Katakuri for the Straw Hat Pirates. Another possibility? Zoro was able to win continuously at the gambling table not because of observation haki. He won because his luck was extraordinary, but because he often got lost and hurt us as the audience forgot about it. It is worth remembering that in the past Zoro was able to get Sandai Kitetsu because he had tested the sword against his luck. Zoro himself, before testing Kitetsu, said that he would test his luck against the Sandai Kitetsu curse. The result? Kitetsu's sword didn't hurt Zoro at all. If it's true that Zoro is unbelievably lucky, I think Eiichiro Oda brought up Zoro's luck again for one thing. Zoro's luck will be tested to face Naide Kitetsu, whose curse is stronger than Sandai Kitetsu. Prior to this, Luffy seemed to have failed to overcome the curse of Naide Kitetsu because he was much more unlucky when he wielded the sword. He even had to face Kaido before he was ready. So, what do you think the reason for Zoro's luck at the gambling table? Is it observation haki? Or is it because his luck has been so high that the curse of a sword like Kitetsu can't even affect him? Share your opinion in the comments column.